So, good morning. Today, on my regular Night Calorie podcast series, I'm going to take a kind of a different look at one of the best and the most popular episodes of Night Gallery. It was broadcast in 1971 in the second season, and it's the interpretation of the classic sci-fi what do you call short story, Silent Snow, Secret Snow. Now, the Night Gallery episode version, as well as a previous version that appeared as a short film to kind of a CBS TV style affiliate, is based on Conrad Aiken's short story and is considered one of the most important works of science fiction of the 1930s. Coming out in 1934, the first appeared in the collected stories of Conrad Aiken, and has been appeared in numerous anthologies over the years. Now, is the short story kind of an interpretation of schizophrenia, of autism? I think it's mostly autism. And if you ever watch the short versions, again, the short film and the Night Gallery version, it's pretty apparent that there's a lot of psychological battles going on within the young man that is the key to the story. Now, in this plot, Paul Hasselman, um, he finds it like very difficult to pay attention to his classwork, and he's becoming to grow distance from his family. But there seems to be a reason in the story and the dramatization. He's instead becoming more and more entranced by daydreaming about snow. Now, snow for a lot of people is comfort and reverse warmth. People feel very comfortable hearing a snowstorm or the wind that howls up during a storm. And his daydreams become more and more apparent. It begins when he was lying in bed one morning, awaiting the approach of the postman. Uh, Now, unable to hear the expected footfalls of the delivery man, the boy imagines that he'd been muffled by the newly fallen snow and is surprised when he looks out the window and discovers there's no snow on the ground. So, this young gentleman, probably 12, 13, 14, he's having some psychological things going on in his mind. It's not really voices, but mostly images that are projecting. Now, Paul's increasing distance and difference in the world around him alarms his parents. uh, After a short while, he struggles to get dressed and converse with others because of the allure of his daydream about snow. They eventually call in a physician who makes a house call to examine Paul physically and mentally. And after revealing that he has an obsession about thinking about snow, he tears himself away from the meeting with the physician and retires to his room. Now, when his mother follows up and pursue him, the the presentation's big line, "Go away, I hate you," triggers something in him, and he becomes lost in the dream world of the snow. Now, some psychiatrists, psychologists have talked about the fact that he doesn't want to be part of the dirty world, but he wants to be part of the clean world of the snow. But what triggers Paul's obsession with snow is really not really looked about in depth in the written version, but in the two short story interpretations, it's more and more prevalent that the fact he just feels he doesn't belong, and the snow can take care of him. And in the Night Gallery version, the snow becomes almost his best friend. A lot of ways. You see, when science fiction goes from print to the visual world, sometimes it's in the eye of the beholder that the words come to life. Now, the first version, the first dramatic version of it was produced by Gene Kearney, and it was a 17-minute short in 1964. But Kearney came back for the dramatization in the Rod Serling's Night Gallery series. Now, Kearney directed that, and the great young talent Radames Pera, who also excelled on Kung Fu and the Waltons in a character role, had the lead, and it became a lot more effective because the great Orson Welles, that director and actor, narrated the short story, and it gives it a lot more resonance. Now, for me, when I first saw the episode, I didn't know what autism really was. When you're 6, 7 years old, you don't know all the psychological, what do you call categories. But as years have gone by, some people on the autistic syndrome make their own world, and in this case, he has enough intelligence to know his own self. But he sometimes with autistic children, they go back into themselves and seek an escape. They haven't really been threatened in life. If anything, most autistic children are a higher level of intelligence, but in certain cases, the brains, what I call circuitry, is so off the beaten track. Something either happens. In certain cases of autistic, I've had autistic children in my family. Either they've gotten worse or gotten better as puberty would hit. And for a lot of people, they look at the change of life as a teenager to lead into schizophrenia, autism, psychopathism, and all that, because the genetics of the body changes. Now, for me, like I said, I don't think it's schizophrenia because the snow is not telling him to do anything but to protect himself, not to hurt any other people. In certain cases, schizophrenia, the people become aggressive and act out. In this case, it's regressive thoughts, not what you call attacks thoughts. And like I said, I'm not a psychiatrist. I haven't studied it, but I've seen enough schizophrenics to know. In many cases, in the schizophrenics in my family, he thought things and made it up. In this case, he's in his own mind. There's two worlds going on, and he must choose. And at the end of the episode, it's pretty well apparent, what he has chosen. Now, both versions of Kearney's Silent Snow, Secret Snow are available on YouTube. The original is in black and white for obvious reasons, 1964. The Night Gallery version, which I think is around 20 minutes, filmed on the NBC backlot, NBC Universal backlot, really stands out for cinematography. Probably one of the most interesting episodes of Night Gallery in the second season because it can be watched several times over and over again, and still certain aspects that you missed on previous viewing can be seen. But the Orson Welles narration, probably one of the best narrations of any episodic television of the 1970s. If there was more awards for voice acting at the time, Orson would have probably swept everything because it just a very great performance. And Orson really, I think, loved the work, loved the short story, and it shows in his presentation. So again, thanks for listening. Again, we have we are reaching close to 67,000 page views on my YouTube channel, which a good percentage is the Night Gallery fans. I'd like to thank all the Night Gallery fans who've been taking time to listen to my misses and my interpretations of some of the key episodes. They will continue, but I'm quickly running out because a lot of the third season was crap, and there's a lot of episodes where, I don't think they're so straightforward. You don't need my interpretation of it. So please leave a like, a subscribe, a comment. Everything is appreciated. And if you like the channel, tell your friends. And if you don't like what I'm saying, as we say at the Beresford Drive-In, don't tell no one. Have a good day.